So it's been a long week. Um, the entire world has been completely obsessed with this Drake Kendrick beef, which personally I feel has like lowered everybody's IQ, and has been completely distracting everyone from whatever's going on in the world. So what I've been seeing is a lot of essays going back to Mr. Morale. Even Drake has like mentioned it a lot, and some thoughts that I have on the album is that it's very deep and it's very different. And I'm not gonna go too deep into it because I don't think I'm very qualified for it. Um, you know, what I am gonna say is that it reminds me a lot of when Jay-Z released 444, which was like his big final. I'm gonna say final because it's been a long time since he's released music, aside from like features. It was like a big polarizing album that 50 Cent notoriously said nobody wants to listen to that smart shit, like people want to be like in the club, pun intended, and bitches and drugs and shit. Like even when rappers tend to talk about struggle or things, it's always very egocentrical, very narcissistic. And something that Jay-Z did with that album was incredible because he talked about things that were really important, that needed to be spoken about, that I believe had certain effect on the culture. And Kendrick Lamar essentially did that with Mr. Morale. It's an album that me as a father and as like a person who I believe like value family is very vulnerable. It's a very vulnerable album. He puts himself on the stake, and we also saw a lot of that in when there was the beef. That a lot of Drake's attacks were, things that Kendrick has already gone out and said, and it's very wonderful. It's a very wonderful listen. It's hard. It's a challenging listen. It's not an album that you can like, just put shuffle on Spotify and just take in little bits. It's something that you really need to sit down and analyze. And maybe that's not what it usually comes out of, the genre of hip hop and rap. And I think it's something that like musically, needed to be shared and needs to be listened to. So, now that like this whole beef has like gone down, and Kendrick's probably gonna go into his next album, and we already got For All the Dogs, which is not one of like, and personally not one of Drake's best moments. It's an album that feels very, very visceral and like, like in your face. I think it's fair that like, if we're gonna like say, Kendrick is one of the best rappers of all time, blah blah blah, like go back and listen to that album now, and just try to take it in, and like sit down, have a cup of coffee, and read the lyrics to everything he's saying, and like how important it is that like people take in the message of what he was trying to convey. Aside from like, a killer album, some great tracks on there, but probably some of his best material. And I'd really like to say more on it, but I haven't written anything down. I just I couldn't get to sleep thinking about like this idea. And there are some amazing channels that have like broken down that album and like really gone deep into it. But I think it's something that you should probably give a listen. So that's all I really have to say about that. But yeah.